The 25 million Nulane Investment fraud and money laundering case has been set for trial between the 23rd of January and the 3rd of March 2023. The Bloemfontein High Court heard the pre-trial issues earlier and adjourned to finalise these matters. Now, this matter pertains to the procurement of fraud involving 24.9 million rand by the Free State Department of Agriculture to Nulane Investment, a company owned and controlled by Iqbal Sharma. Let's speak now to our senior reporter, Tumaole Mohlaoli, who attended court earlier. Tumaole, first question to you. Let's begin with the link to the criminal matter, which is set down for next year. What can you tell us there?
Well, what I can tell you, Goli, is that the whole case that is around, Nulane Investment, Iqbal Sharma, and the postponement around it that was heard today here in the Bloemfontein High Court is basically the NPA's attempt to make sure that it wraps up this process so that when the trial does begin, all outstanding matters, which would be, of course, the application by Iqbal Sharma and, of course, those that have placed the company under curatorship who wanted to be involved in this particular matter, is sorted out so that you don't have a situation whereby when the trial begins, then you have trials within trials, NPA trying to wrap it up. But let's hear from Sindisiwe Seboka about where the process is now. In terms of the assets, Sindisiwe, can you tell us what is the NPA's processes and where do we stand? Are those also matters that you're trying to wrap up before the trial begins?
So we get regular updates from the state-appointed curator, took up office in, I think, July, appointed by the court in June 2021. So the updates in terms of the assets, we're talking about a Constantia Cape Town house, which is valued at around 21 million. There's also a Johannesburg home owned by the Guptas, valued at about 12 million. There's also the Nulane Investment and Isa Global owned property in Johannesburg, valued at about 12 odd million, could be more. And then there's a sectional property of 1.3 million owned by Isa Global as well, and Tarina Patel, who's the wife to Iqbal Sharma, as well as about 500,000 odd in terms of movable property. And we also have our sights on the Bombardier aircraft owned by the Gupta family, which is easily in the millions. We're still trying to sort out evaluation in terms of how much that is and to locate it. But I think what is key here is that as the NPA, we're trying to ensure that as much of the island side property, Nulane Investment, Isa Global, and in terms of the respondents in this matter's property is safe kept by the curator. However, that process is proceeding quite well. The latest curator report came out in April.
All right. And in terms of Sharma, we understand that there might be assets also stashed overseas. We heard in court one of the advocates chirping, in fact, that he's making trips back and forth to Dubai. This would suggest that this is not a man who's hamstrung, despite what arguments might have been made in terms of cash flow. Are you looking perhaps also abroad as the NPA to see if you can catch more?
So in terms of POCA, the Act actually says that the assets so restrained are assets that are in the country as well as assets abroad. However, you need to find them in order to restrain them. So that's exactly what we're attempting to do in terms of other assets that are abroad. And we've also told court that in terms of the hearing, or one of the submissions made, that we need the confirmation hearing to begin so that we can also be able to then, should the court find in our favor, be able to go to other jurisdictions and show them that, hey, this is a confirmation of a restraint in terms of assets pertaining to X, Y, and Z company of Iqbal Sharma and Island Sides. So we thus require details in terms of bank records, because in order to get extra jurisdiction cooperation, you do need title stringent aids in order to be able to do that. So the confirmation of the restraint is also vital. It's something that we are anticipating we'll be able to conclude in October.